I don't feel good about it. And as you know, nobody gets to choose when they're done. But the thing that sucks is I know for a fact I could still play in the NFL.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a teaching tutorial Thanksgiving Thursday edition of the mighty RTFP. Already told you we got Kyle Long, a Long Family Thanksgiving special. He, of course, presented by Labatt Blue Light. Drink some Labatt Blue Lights today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, with family, with friends, living life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
The Big Show.
Yes, I've been waiting for this one. I've had him on my list of people to try to get on the show ever since we were hanging out at the CBS seminar back in August. Been a big fan of this guy going back to his playing days with the Bears. I did a bunch of Bears games on the radio when he was playing in Chicago. Number 75, Bear Down, Kyle Long. You can check him out on social media. It's at Kyle Long, except the first L is a 1.
Yes.
Instead of an L, because there's a fake Kyle Long out there probably. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I think I made my Twitter account in like 2010. Ross, great to see you, by the way. You're the best. I get to hang out with you Sunday remotely every Sunday. I get to ask you and the guys questions about the NFL, and it's such a treat to get to hear your response. But yeah, man, Kyle Long, KY1E. And people always ask me, I'm like, dude, I wasn't the first guy to get Kyle Long. There's somebody else out there.
So Kyle, obviously, long NFL career. We'll get into that. But also, he does that other pregame show, CBS Sports Network on Sundays. Great show. I get to hop on when I'm calling games. And then he's also one half of a new podcast. Love the name of it, Pushing the Pile Podcast. How's that going so far?
Yeah, it's going well. You know, Mike Renner is the host of the show, and, you know, he's really, he does all the play-by-play, and I'm sometimes probably a bit too colorful for him because he has a really, really serious scouting and draft analyst background. The guy is as all ball as they come, and it can be intimidating working with him sometimes because he's so damn smart and handsome, but he's been great. I think we get to attack the game and our analysis from two sides of the coin, and he allows me to get a little weird O-line centric sometimes, and I appreciate that. We also get to do work with Pete Prisco, who I think is one of the smartest senior personnel in the media. He's been a writer for a long time and seen it all, particularly around the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I get to work with him throughout the week. And then obviously Leger Douzable is a brilliant guy that I get to work with day in, day out on Pushing the Pile and then at the desk at CBS. And it's nice to see a defensive lineman and not feel like I have to keep my guard up day in, day out as well, Ross.
Love it. So we're airing this on Thanksgiving. So Kyle and I are recording it a day early, but we're airing this on Thanksgiving. You know, it's funny because I'm traveling for Thanksgiving. I can't remember the last time I was home for Thanksgiving because I'm always doing a game. So it made me think of you as well. What was Thanksgiving like growing up? What do you remember of Thanksgiving growing up in the Long household?
Well, first and foremost, I like you, football doesn't allow for the smoothest holiday seasons. So we would always have to we're going to do Thanksgiving the day after Thanksgiving, but we're going to have a Thanksgiving get together even without dad being home on Thanksgiving. So we would always have guys from the football team who didn't have a place to go. My parents always opened the doors. We always had a really great crew over there in Charlottesville, Virginia. And my mom is just, you know, everybody's mom is an all-star. And I think my mom's an all-pro. You know what I mean? So we got really lucky in that department. And then obviously when you get dad back home, he likes to throw down on Thanksgiving. And yeah, there's always a good football game on TV. But the best game, as you know, Ross, is in the backyard on Thanksgiving. And there was no more violent a football game than at our house.
Whoa. Seriously? You guys Like,
Well, it was the
so
neighbors.
What age you guys would play in the backyard? Like when you were
It
how old?
wasn't even our game. Like it wasn't our game. So in rural Central Virginia, there's like fields and fields and woods, and then there's a house like way in the distance. And there's the family, the Haas family. Jeff is the patriarch of that family, and he mowed out a beautiful football field, as well as in the spring he would do the kickball field out there. A lot of fun stuff between the houses over there in Ivy, Virginia, and he would bring all his work buddies and his older kids. And then as a young guy, it was my first opportunity to go and test out some of these dudes who are like post-puberty. And as like a 12-year-old, I was out there running routes against like grown men and try to get nasty. But Thanksgiving was the first opportunity I had to do that, Ross.
That is funny. What do you have like a favorite Thanksgiving food, side, dessert? Is there something that jumps out to you?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the hell my mom has been doing to the sweet potatoes that come out there, just sugary, buttery, just stick them in a container and let them get to know one another for a while. That's my favorite, like candied yams, sweet potatoes. I love the stuffing as well. I was never much into, like, I'm not a turkey guy. I eat it. Obviously, it's like a seasonal thing. I eat it on the holiday, but anything else, man, I just smash carbs on Thanksgiving, especially when I was a player, dude. You know it. I mean, we were guilt-free. Just eat whatever you want. I put the gravy on the sweet potatoes. I put the mashed potatoes on top of that. You'd mix it in with a little stuffing. You're right at home.
You know what's funny? Man, I could eat when I was a player. I mean, I could really. I tell people now, dude. I used to order. The first time I ever heard of Chipotle was when I was with the Cowboys. It was like one of the first Chipotle. It's like 2003. I would order 2 burritos, dude, to eat them both. That's
standard
4,000
operating procedure,
calories.
right, Ross? Like, come on. Like you said Chipotle. It reminds me of Bears training camp. We used to take like 4 or 5 of the O linemen after that first practice, before that afternoon walkthrough, and we would go 2 burritos. And the skinny guys, they would get double wrapped burritos, and the big guys, you'd go extra meat and just keep it to 1 wrap because you didn't want to, inflate too much.
That is funny. All right. So I know you get asked this all the time. I'm sorry it's not like the most original question, but I'm always curious. Obviously, I have 2 girls, so I won't really find this out. But I'm curious, growing up, pros and cons of having an NFL dad, and in particular, a Pro Bowl Hall of Fame dad.
Well, from a pro standpoint, a surefire pro is that there wasn't a field that I walked on and I didn't feel like I had more than a fighting chance. Whether it was baseball or football, I tried lacrosse as a youngster, and I always felt like, thank God for genetics. The other side was everybody had a preconceived notion about you, and you had to prove yourself every step of the way. So it's a two-edged sword. While one crowd wants a guy like me to have success, and then there's obviously a group of people that, they find out Howie Longson is on the other team and they're trying to get after him. And kids from a young age were like, how much did your parents pay the refs and stuff like that? I remember hearing this stuff, and you learn to shrug it off early. It's part of why I'm like an unserious person, I think, is I just don't take it seriously. And I've had to train myself to be that way. When I got into the league, having a dad like my dad was really helpful. I mean, I could have every anxiety in the book about going up against one of the, Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh, Willie Young on the Detroit Lions in 2013 and 14. Like a god tier group of guys. You can quell those anxieties by calling a guy who's watching the same film you are, and he can kind of walk you through how things can get done. And it's nice to have that, Ross. It's nice to have that.
I bet. It's funny because, like what you said about growing up, it's not that different than when, like in high school, a guy would have an offer, like for going D1.
100%.
All I wanted to do was try to kill him. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, even, I always tell a story, my 4th year, I started at center for Buffalo against Baltimore, like Ray Lewis. And I was like, I don't know what the scheme was, but I had to block him almost every play. and one of the practice squad O-line was like, dude, you got to block Ray like every play. I'm like, yeah, I know it's going to be awesome. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get famous. That is not what happened at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. But that was still the mindset, right? So you, being Howie Long's kid, like, dude, I would have tried to kill you.
And then
you know,
Chris
you have
was
some notoriety, and I want to take it. You know,
Chris was like the guy at UVA, which was a stone's throw from my high school history class. You know what I'm saying? I could hear the UVA baseball team hitting across the street from where I went to high school. So not only did I have that last name, but like people were starting to have some recognition for Chris as well. So I was getting it from both sides, and the only way I could do it was try to run to baseball, right, Ross? I was like, I think I'm going to go play baseball because they don't know me, and maybe less people know of my dad in that field.
okay, so that's really interesting. So first of all, how much older is Chris than you?
4 years.
Okay, so Chris is already a dude in high school, and then he goes to UVA, and he's starting to become a dude there while you're still in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I know I had heard that you were like a big time pitcher. So tell me about that. Tell me about pitching and you know what you threw, and just kind of take the listeners who might not think of an NFL Pro Bowl guard as being like a Major League Baseball pitching prospect. So walk us through it.
Well, it's funny, Ross. I mean, you're you're a well-storied, brilliant dude, and I enjoy listening to you when you're in the booth because you get a unique look at things. And I've been around enough offensive linemen to know that we look at things a little bit differently. And I think it started in baseball with me, with being a pitcher. I could always throw hard, but I wanted to have a plan. And I didn't figure out a plan. But the thing I love the most about baseball is it's a thinker's game. And as a pitcher, you get the opportunity to have the ball in your hand, play in, play out. And that's what's really unique about that game. In addition to that, you get a chance to hit, help yourself out a little bit. I loved it. And when you're up there on that mound and all the eyeballs are on you, it's a really cool feeling. I didn't get to play quarterback much. You know, there were some packages in high school where I was the quarterback, but they didn't let me throw, Ross. So I would imagine that's what it feels like to play quarterback. You're in control. I grew up watching guys like Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens and Randy Johnson, dominating presences on the mound. And those are the guys I related to. And I carried that mentality over into baseball as well. Like I wanted to pound the strike zone when I was playing offensive guard. Like I was going to be coming for the V of your neck every play. And you're going to have to figure out how to hit it, or you're going to be on the cut up reel next week.
All right, so how hard did you throw and how heavy were you? You played college baseball, right? How heavy were you when you were playing college baseball?
Well, I never got to play in a game in college baseball because I got in trouble my freshman year, but I was on the roster for summer. Like when I showed up to college my freshman year, that summer, I went through all the summer, I went through all fall ball, and I got in some trouble over winter break back home, and I never got to play. But I was 280, 285 maybe, and
oh my gosh.
about 6'6", and I was like, I felt good. In retrospect, I should have just played tight end, man. If I could just stay 280 my whole life, I'd be a lot healthier, I feel like. But yeah, I was probably sitting 94 to 96 miles an hour.
Lefty, right, or no?
Yeah, left-handed pitcher. Left-handed pitcher and first base. And I loved hitting, and I loved stealing bases. And I kind of, I was watching Jameis Winston the other day from one of these, like, perfect game showcases. They had a clip of him stealing home plate. And there was like 4 major leaguers in frame and Jameis Winston. But like, I kind of had that mentality too, where I was like, why can't I do this? Like, these are just baseball guys. We're better athletes anyway. You know what I mean?
So wait, that is wild on a lot of levels that you were 280, 285. What were your football offers out of high school? Were you like a big time player, big time recruit, or not really?
Yeah, I was a pretty big recruit. I think mostly everywhere, Ross. I was committed. I had probably like 50 offers by the time that I committed, which was at the end of my sophomore year. I committed to Florida State to play baseball.
Wait, end of your sophomore year, you had 50 football offers?
Like end of the sophomore year, rolling into junior year, yeah.
But you committed to Florida State for baseball.
I committed to Florida State to play baseball, much to Rick Trickett's, anger. he would show up at the baseball field on his Harley and be like, "Where the hell is that Kyle Long character?" And all the guys would point at me. He's like, "We need you over here, man." EJ Manuel, buddy of mine, we came out together. We came out of high school together. He's from Virginia as well. He was the quarterback at Florida State. I'd see him at the chow hall. He'd be like, "Buddy, I'm going to slap you in the back of the head. Like, you need to come play football with us." But it was hot in Tallahassee. I wanted nothing to do with that.
All right, so you get in trouble, but my question is, why does getting in trouble make you switch sports? Like, you could have kept playing baseball, right?
Full disclosure, I was drinking a lot my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I blew a .08 at 19 years old, illegal on both counts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Shouldn't be doing that. And I was making a habit of making a lot of stupid decisions as it pertained to, my toxicity levels.
Yep.
And I had to start over, dude. So I had a DUI, and I said, I need to start. I need to go somewhere where I don't know anybody. I need to just restart. And I went out to Arizona, and I was lucky enough to have the ability to afford that little break. You know what I'm saying? And I went out there to the Sonoran Desert during monsoon season. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have my buddies with me. I didn't watch TV. I just went to a ton of meetings, and I got to know myself, and I did a lot of, I did a lot of therapy, and I was like, what do I need to do? Because I know that there's a beast inside me that needs to be unleashed in a good way. You know what I'm saying? And I've been getting off the rails for so long. That trip out west, I said, I want to go even further west. So I went to California after 6 months in Tucson, Arizona. Went to California, and I got a job at Jack's Surfboards, and I enrolled in essentially a halfway house program where I lived with other people in recovery, some mandated, some by choice. And we had a strict, a nun with a ruler style house parent who was a guy who was in recovery too, a total badass. So I went to meetings in the day, and then the other half of the day I was working at a surf shop, Jack Surfboards, and Mark McElroy was the junior college coach at Saddleback College in Orange County. And he walked in to the surf shop. He actually is a surf coach too at Saddleback. Not anymore, but he was at the time. And he was buying sex wax or something. And he was like, "Who the hell are you?" I was like, "I'm here to sell you ball bearings for your Sector 9." I was like a smart ass. And he's like, "Did you ever play football?" "I'm the football coach at Saddleback." I was like, "I played a little bit of football." "Why? Who's asking?" Essentially, I was on a bus from that halfway house, just me on a bus with a driver, going to Saddleback, which is like a 30-minute drive, 3 days a week for summer conditioning, because Mark McElroy was like, "Come out, get to know the guys." He was big in the church, Saddleback Church. He still is huge. And he's all about giving second chances. So that was how I got into football. It was like a random occurrence where I ran into this dude, Mark McElroy. We just got inducted together in the California, Coaches Association Junior College Hall of Fame last year. Awesome honor, great dude. So many great stories about guys through the junior college ranks. Man, I'm getting chills thinking about it, bro. It's been a while since I went there mentally, but yeah, I had to restart,
awesome.
Ross. I had to restart, and I was like, there's too much free. So this is how I did it. There's too much free time in baseball. I was like, I need football. I need those dudes. I need to get my ass kicked a little bit.
And get your aggression out.
And it was great, Ross. It was like, and he said, "What position you can play?" And I said, "I want to chase I want to kill quarterbacks." So we had a 3-3-5. I had no gap integrity. Steve Crapo was our DC. He's going to be a Hall of Famer this year. He benched me. It was the best thing that ever happened. He benched me. My parents would come to games, and I'd get garbage time, and I'd play the run at the end of the game. But the next year, after learning my lesson, taking my lumps there as a backup in junior college, Mark McElroy, who's the offensive coordinator, was like, "You're my new tackle." And we scored a lot of points. The right tackle was Menelik Watson, who was a draft pick.
Yeah, I know him.
So we had good tackles, and we had a Baker Mayfield style, tough guy, quick game type quarterback, and we just ran that Hawaii, spread them out, and like, we'll block you up, and our guy's going to have a field day. And it just took off from there. Chip Kelly came, saw me in practice, and was like, do you want to go to class? I was like, yeah, sure. He was like, do you like football? Yeah. You want to be a Duck? And I had 1 year of eligibility, and I put my listening ears on, and Chip and Steve Greatwood and that group got me into the Senior Bowl. And then from there, the Bears.
Unbelievable. When I saw you this August, I said, how many years did you play? How many years did you get? And you said 8 NFL seasons. I could tell there was like disappointment in your voice. And I'm curious, tell me about that. Because 8 years is incredible. I know not as long as your dad or brother, but like I could just sense that you didn't like telling me 8.
Yeah, it's I don't feel good about it. And as you know, nobody gets to choose when they're done. But the thing that sucks is I know for a fact I could still play in the NFL. Like hands down, 100% could play in the NFL. But the time for me was done. There's too many incidents where somebody landed on me, after a whistle, one of my teammates gets pancaked and just happens to land on me. Nobody's fault. It's just football. And eventually you have to take the message from the universe and just walk away. And when my wife and I were first expecting our first daughter, that was in 2021 when I came back. I retired for a year. I went and did CBS. I covered the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay when Patrick was running for his damn life, Ross. And I remember looking at Bill Cowher and saying, I'm going to go back and play next year, and I'm going to try to protect Patrick. Like a month or so later, I was on the Chiefs roster. And I was playing guard, all that stuff, and I got rolled up on again. But I came back. We got beat by Burrow in the AFC Championship, that Jamar Chase debacle at Arrowhead. And the exit meetings, they were like, we're so excited to have you back and healthy again. And I said, my wife's pregnant. I'm going home. And then they won the next 2 Super Bowls. So in addition to not having the length of career I would have liked, I just missed a really cool boat there in Kansas City, Ross.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I'll say this though. I'm very happy for you and your wife and your daughters that you have your health.
It's the best. It's the best.
Because, dude, you're going to live like 50 more years at least. You know what I mean? Like, It's a long, long time. And I think whatever you would have gained on the football side, I'm glad that you have it on the family side. Check out Pushing the Pile podcast. Check him out on social media at Kyle Long. Just turn the first L into a 1. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. That was awesome.
Thanks, Ross. You're the man. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your week. I look forward to seeing you in the studio.
My friends at Smirnoff know there's no I in football. It's a we thing. Best enjoyed together. Good drinks, good folks. Smirnoff's the world's #1 vodka, an official vodka partner of the NFL. And we got the holidays coming up. More opportunities to watch football and make delicious Smirnoff cocktails. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas. Smirnoff and the NFL are with you every step of the way. Make sure to drink responsibly. Take a minute. Make a plan. Never drive impaired. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York. Please not share with anyone under legal drinking age. Smirnoff, we do game days.
Ducks Takes.
All right, Ross, we've got 3 games today on Thanksgiving. First one up on the slate is the Chicago Bears. They're at the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Lions to win the game. I don't know how anybody would pick against the Lions, other than they have that incredible streak of how many Thanksgiving Day games they've lost in a row, including to the Bears, which is pretty wild. You just don't see that very often in the NFL. I would be surprised if they lose this game. That said, as I said on the Even Money podcast, I like the Bears to keep it close. I do not think it'll be a blowout. I think the Bears will be able to keep it close. So I will take the Lions, but closer than people think, 27-17. I will take the Lions to win the game over the Bears.
Next up, the Giants. They're at the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC East battle.
Yeah, the biggest blah game of them all, I guess. I don't know. We don't even know for sure who the quarterback will be. I'm picking the Cowboys to win the game. Hopefully, whether it's Locke or DeVito, the Giants can put forth a better performance than that. Cowboys 20, Giants 17.
And last up in the evening, we have the Dolphins traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers.
Best game by far. This will be my Thursday night football pick presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. I've gone back and forth on this one. The Dolphins are playing so well right now. This would be an incredible win for them. And if the game was in Miami or maybe anywhere other than Green Bay, I would definitely take the Dolphins. I can't do it. Let's go Packers 23-20. Other than that, Jack, happy Thanksgiving to all. We'll have a fresh new episode tomorrow. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. You know I love it. You know I want to send you an autograph. You know I want you to get one for your parents or grandparents. Backofficescheduler.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture,